My parents told me one of the most chilling stories they ever experienced. This happened 20 years ago. This was 2 years before I was born. My parents, who I will refer to as Mom and Dad, because I want to keep their identity a secret, they got their dream home, and immediately after they got it, they moved all their furnitures in that house. A couple of days later, as they were settling into their new home, my mom noticed that she heard a tapping sound within the walls in the kitchen. My father told her not to be alarmed, it's just probably the house settling in, so my mom paid no mind to it. But the tapping inside of the walls of the kitchen kept on being persistent, and it kept on happening every single day and every single night. It was constant. It will only stop for about an hour or two, then she would hear it again. This kept on going until my mom finally had enough. She told my father that she knows there's something going on, and it's not just the house settling in. After some convincing, my father finally decided to give in and to figure out what was causing the tapping noise. Even though he still thinks it's the house settling in, but he decided to check it out anyway. My father came back with a sledgehammer and he knocked the walls down in the kitchen. After he knocked the walls down, he looked inside of the walls and he almost fell backwards. When my parents looked inside the wall to see what was making the tapping noise, they saw a woman who looked to be about in her mid-40s. She was dirty all over and very frail, and she had feces all over her hair and all over her body. Plus she had blood all over her kneecaps. Her dress was torn up and dirty, and there was a foul smell coming in from inside of the wall. Not to mention, the wall was infested with roaches and rats. My mother called 911 to let them know what they discovered. The police came 15 minutes later, and they were able to escort the woman out of there. Apparently, this woman had some sort of mental illness, and apparently the previous house owner was her father, who was about 67 years old. From what the officers told us, the father got sick and tired of his daughter, so he came up with a very twisted and sick idea to seal off his daughter inside of the walls. And then he was going to sell the house, and it got sold to my parents. After all this came out, the officers were able to find the father and have him arrested. The woman, his daughter on the other hand, was able to get some help, and currently she's living with family members. After this whole entire ordeal, my parents were a little shaken up, but not to the point where they wanted to move. Eventually, after a while, they got over it, but they never forgot about this chilling experience that they went through.